Whispers of Death Valley. Death Valley. Just the name itself evoked a certain eerie unease. Known for its scorching temperatures and vast, desolate landscapes, it was a place many travelers passed through but few lingered. I was driving across the country, documenting America's natural wonders. Having covered the Grand Canyon and the vastness of Monument Valley, Death Valley was my next stop. I wanted to experience it in all its mysterious glory, so I decided to drive through it at night. As the sun set, the valley transformed. The reds and oranges of the daylight were swallowed by inky blues and blacks. The highway stretched endlessly ahead, with only my car's headlights cutting through the enveloping darkness. The radio buzzed with static before settling into a haunting old tune from the 60s. Its melancholy tone seemed oddly appropriate for this vast, lonely stretch. My car's engine was the only other sound, a steady rumble that seemed to soothe my nerves. Hours in, I noticed something strange. My fuel gauge, which had been close to full when I started, was rapidly depleting. It didn't make sense. Panic began to creep in. The last thing I wanted was to be stranded in the middle of Death Valley at night. Just then, my headlights illuminated a sign, "Gas station, 5 miles ahead." Relief washed over me. If I drove conservatively, I could make it. The gas station, when it finally appeared, was a relic from the past. 2 old pumps stood outside a tiny wooden hut, its windows dark. A flickering neon sign read, "Last stop for 100 miles." I pulled up, hoping someone was inside. To my surprise, an elderly attendant emerged from the shadows. His face, deeply lined with age and sun exposure, broke into a smile. "Rare to get visitors this time of the night," he said, his voice as ancient as the desert. While the fuel pumped, I asked him about the unusually rapid fuel consumption I had experienced. He chuckled softly. "Death Valley has its mysteries. Some folks say the spirits here are always hungry, draining energy, be it from man or machine." I laughed nervously, not quite sure how to respond. Once the tank was full, I handed him cash, noticing his fingers were abnormally cold for a desert night. "Drive safely," he warned as I started the car. "And whatever you do, don't stop for hitchhikers. Not everyone you see is of this world." His words sent a shiver down my spine, but I brushed them off as tales meant to scare solo travelers. Back on the road, the earlier calm I felt was replaced by a growing sense of unease. Every rustle of wind and distant sound seemed amplified. And then, amidst the vast emptiness, I saw her. A woman, dressed in a white flowing gown, stood by the roadside, her thumb out for a ride. Remembering the old man's words, I drove past her. But as my car passed, her face came into the light, pale, with hollow eyes and a mournful expression. Moments later, I glanced in the rearview mirror, and to my horror, she was seated in the back seat, her hollow eyes meeting mine. Paralyzed with fear, I could only watch as she leaned forward, her cold breath on my neck. "Why didn't you stop?" she whispered. Summoning all my strength, I swerved the car off the road, the sudden jolt causing her apparition to vanish. My heart raced as I tried to compose myself, the ghostly encounter still fresh. But Death Valley wasn't done with me yet. The road ahead began to transform. No longer a well-paved highway, it turned into an old dirt track. Distorted figures began to emerge from the desert sands, miners, settlers, native tribespeople, all who might have met their fate in this treacherous terrain. They whispered tales of their tragic ends, their voices a chorus of suffering and pain. Realizing I was seeing the valley's dark past unfold, I sped up, desperate to escape its grip. Just when I thought I couldn't bear it any longer, the first light of dawn broke on the horizon. As the sun's rays pierced the darkness, the apparitions in the dirt track faded, replaced by the familiar paved road. Exhausted and shaken, I pulled over, allowing the warmth of the sun to heal and comfort. Behind me, Death Valley lay silent, its secrets and spirits concealed once more. Ahead, the road stretched out, leading to safer, known territories. The rest of my journey was uneventful, but the night's haunting experiences remained etched in my memory. Death Valley, with its eerie beauty and haunting past, had shared its mysteries with me, serving as a chilling reminder that some places, no matter how mesmerizing, hold secrets best left undiscovered.